Have you ever encountered circumstances in which you felt that others did not consider you to be a priority? Have you ever encountered a circumstance in which you accomplished a task with excellence, contributed something of genuine value to others, or conceived a brilliant idea but received no recognition for your efforts? I understand this is a difficult one to confront, but sometimes people may not recognize or pretend not to recognize your true worth, even if you act in the right way. Do what's best for everyone and make yourself available to others. In fact, if you continue to try to please people who don't give you the recognition you deserve, you may end up disheartened, and reversing this situation can be quite difficult. It's an unpleasant feeling that worsens when it involves others. We should not anticipate recognition from others, as it is beyond our control and may not materialize. Consequently, it is futile to wait for it. Doing so will only lead to disappointment. However, what if I told you that there are ways to increase one's visibility by becoming a priority in another person's life? Quite possibly, this can occur if you comprehend and implement the information we are about to demonstrate. Certain actions can assist you in maintaining the highest position on someone's list. You can ensure that the people you care about always consider you a priority by adhering to these 9 measures. It is now time to learn the solution in order to revolutionize your approach, given that you have an understanding of the issue. We ought to go. Prior to commencing, I would like to request that you view the following video. Until the very end, since each musical measure is crucial, the establishment of the fear of being lost is one phase. Utilizing this method is among the most effective psychological strategies one can employ to earn someone's attention and regard. Fear of losing something frequently motivates individuals more than the possibility of obtaining it. To earn someone's respect and see you as a priority, you must instill in them the dread of losing you. In order to accomplish this, initiate emotional detachment, cease disclosing personal sentiments and confidential information, and establish a more harmonious schedule with other individuals. This will result in their perceiving a diminished sense of significance from your perspective. Although extremely effective, it should be implemented with extreme prudence. They may abandon their attempts to gain you back if you distance yourself excessively. In balance, step 2 is to prevent having 2 available at all times. The adage, quality over quantity, finds application in a multitude of domains, including interpersonal connections. In order to be the focal point of someone's existence, it might be necessary to reduce your level of availability. There is a positive correlation between level of availability and the probability of being taken for granted. This doesn't imply that you should be available only when it is convenient for you. Rather, it is time to prioritize yourself if you consistently adjust and accommodate the needs of others. Demonstrating that you possess an existence apart from them and are not merely awaiting their arrival will increase their appreciation for your company. Step 3 is to preserve some mystique. Thirdly, individuals are typically drawn to the enigmatic and elusive. This fascination can be enthralling and frequently fosters a sense of intimacy within interpersonal connections. A little bit of mystique can be advantageous. Ensure that you are perceived as a priority. Provide subtle indications of your passions and interests without divulging an excessive amount of personal information. Answer inquiries in a general sense and refrain from divulging excessive details about your personal history. Maintaining their curiosity and desire to learn more about you will cause them to regard you as an important aspect of their lives over time. Allow them to invest in 4 of you. This is a delicate step that requires careful and circumspect management. You don't want to alienate people. On the contrary, you want them to be intrigued. Keep in mind the following. Who is more likely to consider you a priority? Whether it is someone who has made a substantial investment in you or someone who has not, the response is self-evident. To earn someone's attention and regard you highly, you must grant them permission to invest in you. This is possible to accomplish in numerous methods. Allow them, for instance, to invest their time in. By declining commitments that you are certain you will be unable to keep, you demonstrate that your time is of value. Be unavailable at all times and avoid making others wait for you. This demeanor will indicate that you hold a high regard and that they should exert greater diligence in order to secure your attention. They will begin to prioritize you once more as a result of perceiving you as a challenge. Remember that for this technique to be effective, it must be utilized moderately. Avoid going excessive, as doing so could yield the exact opposite of the desired outcome. 5. Establish a hierarchy of your requirements. This in no way equates to selfishness. Simply put, prioritizing your requirements entails avoiding circumstances in which you are not given precedence. Why, for instance, would you want to be close to someone with whom you know they will not treat you as you deserve? You increase the likelihood that an individual will regard you as a priority by associating with such individuals. It is imperative to bear in mind that one has no control over the emotions of others toward them. Solely over one's own self-perception is under one's control. Establishing oneself as a priority in one's own life is fundamental to becoming a priority in the life of another. 6th step, refrain from placing them in the center. Have you learned in the past 6 years that individuals are frequently drawn to objects they cannot possess? It is true that an individual desires something more when they perceive themselves as having to exert effort to obtain it. It is likely that you are familiar with the idiom, "the grass is always greener." On the contrary, this expression represents the propensity of individuals to be more enthralled by that which they lack. This principle is also relevant to interpersonal relationships. Therefore, the 6th episode underscores the importance of applying this insight when engaging with others. It promotes the maintenance of a specific distance in order to heighten the allure that others attribute to one's presence. This will indicate that you are not striving for their attention out of desperation. They will come to appreciate you more in the long run. Cease initiating 7 communications as the 7th step. At all times, consider taking a step back if you frequently find yourself being the one to initiate communication with a significant other. This may appear counterproductive, since shouldn't you instigate communication if you wish to become a priority in someone's life? The negative response is the case. When you initiate every communication exchange, the other person begins to take you for granted. Since they will eventually grow accustomed to your efforts and consider you unimportant, you are faced with a dilemma. As an experiment, cease instigating communication and observe the outcome. The other person will make an effort to communicate with you if they genuinely care about you. 8thly, generate your own pleasure. To earn someone's attention and establish oneself as a priority in their life, it is critical to generate personal pleasure rather than relying on others for it. Although it is desirable to have a reliable person who brings us joy, relying on them exclusively for happiness can result in disillusionment. Additionally, relying on the happiness of others deprives us of a genuine life. Rather, it forces us to conform to their desires and priorities, a circumstance that may engender resentment. To be regarded as a priority in another person's existence, one must prioritize the cultivation of their own happiness. Engaging in this practice will not only contribute to your long-term happiness, but it will also enhance your social appeal by creating the impression that you are more composed and affirmed. The 9th step. Prepare yourself to trek 9 yards. Although it may be unsettling to consider stepping away from someone we care about, doing so is a crucial step. By demonstrating your willingness to disengage, you convey that you will not tolerate anything less than what you truly merit. The appropriate individual will prioritize you unconsciously and strive to maintain your presence in their life. Always keep in mind that doing the right thing is your responsibility and is entirely within your control. Hence, it is imperative that you possess the understanding that your conduct is acceptable in the perception of others. Doing so should elicit positive emotions. Refrain from anticipating perpetual recognition or attribution, as well as the valuation that others will consistently accord you. With sufficient time, individuals will begin to notice you for the manner in which you conclude. The following is the conclusion. In conclusion, the following 9 steps provide valuable insights into the concept of being a priority in the lives of others. While we have all encountered instances where we felt neglected or unimportant, it is critical to bear in mind that each individual's life path is distinct and that the priorities of others may not accurately reflect our own. Rather than allowing such circumstances to undermine our self-esteem, we should seize these opportunities as occasions for personal development. Remember that despite not being at the forefront of others' priorities, you have the ability and should prioritize your own happiness and well-being. Eventually, others will recognize your worth and treat you with the regard you deserve. This is not mere selfishness. Rather, it is self-compassion and self-determination. By doing so, we can cultivate more fulfilling relationships, make decisions that are more in line with our aspirations, and ultimately lead more fulfilling lives.